Devaya.
Reading from Bhagavad-gita, Chapter 2, Text 22, chapter entitled Contents of Gita Summarized. Vasansi jirnani yata vihaya navani gurnati naro parani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani sangyati navani dehi. Translation. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old and useless ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up old and useless ones. Purport. Change of the body by the atomic individual soul is an accepted fact. Even the modern scientists who do not believe in the existence of the soul, but at the same time cannot explain the source of energy from the heart, have to accept continuous changes of body, which appear from childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth, and again from youth to old age. From old age, the change is transferred to another body. This has already been explained in a previous verse, chapter 2, text 13. Transference of the atomic individual soul to another body is made possible by the grace of the Supersoul. The Supersoul fulfills the desire of the atomic soul as one friend fulfills the desire of another. The Vedas like Mundak Upanishad as well as Shvetashvatar Upanishad compare the soul and the Supersoul to two friendly birds sitting on the same tree. One of the birds, the individual atomic soul, is eating the fruit of the tree, and the other bird, Krishna, is simply watching his friend. Of these two birds, although they are the same in quality, one is captivated by the fruits of the material tree, while the other is simply witnessing the activities of his friend. Krishna is the witnessing bird and Arjuna is the eating bird. Although they are friends, one is still the master and the other is the servant. Forgetfulness of this relationship by the atomic soul is the cause of one's changing his position from one tree to another or from one body to another. The jiva soul is struggling very hard on the tree of the material body, but as soon as he agrees to accept the other bird as the supreme spiritual master, as Arjuna agreed to by voluntary surrender unto Krishna for instruction, the subordinate bird immediately becomes free from all lamentations. Both the Mundak Upanishad 3.1.2 and Shvetashvatar Upanishad 4.7 confirm this. Samane vrikshe purusho nimagno nishaya shochati muhyamanaha jushtam yada pashyatyanyam isham asya mahimanam iti vita shoka. Although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. But if in some way or other he turns his face to his friend, the Lord, and knows his glories, at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties. Arjuna has now turned his face towards the eternal friend, Krishna, and is understanding the Bhagavad-gita from him. And thus hearing from Krishna, he can understand the supreme glories of the Lord and be free from lamentation. Arjuna is advised herewith by the Lord not to lament for the bodily change of his old grandfather and his teacher. He should rather be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight so that they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from various bodily activities. One who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of bodily reactions and promoted to a higher status of life. So there was no cause for Arjuna's lamentation. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyadi Paschate Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Vasangsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grihnati naro parani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani sangyati navani dehi. So Okay, so on chapter 2, text 22 of Bhagavad-gita, still in that section of Bhagavad-gita which discusses about the soul in detail, Sankhya Yoga philosophy, great detail about the soul, which is the beginning of knowledge. Change of the body by the atomic individual soul, Srila Prabhupada writes here, is an accepted fact. Change of the body by the atomic individual soul is an accepted fact. This is referring to growth. When we grow, actually the body is changing constantly. Constant change is happening, which we see as growth, but actually it's sorry. Okay, so yeah. So actually what is happening is that the change of body is happening, growth. Right. So we take growth as the same body changing, but actually growth is different bodies, that they are different bodies. So now here the opening sentence in this purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying, change of the body by atomic individual soul is an accepted fact. Is it a fact? People are arguing about change of body, but here it's referring to growth. So even the modern scientists who do not believe in the existence of the soul, but at the same time cannot explain the source of energy from the heart, have to accept continuous changes of body which appear from childhood to boyhood and boyhood to youth, and again from youth to old age. So people don't accept the soul, but actually, although they don't accept the soul, they have to explain how the source of energy is coming from the heart. Heart is the source of energy in the body. It beats our whole life. And from there, the blood is combined with oxygen and then spread all over the body. So how is it? What is giving the heart so much energy that it's beating whole life without getting tired? The whole body rests at some point at night, but the heart won't rest. It will beat whole life. What's making the heart beat? So the soul, it's the soul, according to the Vedic knowledge that we understand, Ayurveda. But modern scientists, although they don't believe in the soul and cannot explain the source of energy of the heart, at the same time, but they have to accept the continuous growth of the body, which we are not growth, continuous changes of the body, which we call growth. So from the body keeps changing from boyhood to youth, youth to old age. These changes of the body make the body change so drastically that even after a few years or many years, we can't recognize someone unless they tell us who they are. Such a change comes, but still that change of body, people are not questioning. They accept, okay, body is changing. But although the body is changing, something is not changing. Body continues to change, to grow, but inside there is something which is not changing. I am not changing. There's a part which is not changing. I'm looking around, my hand is different, my legs. When I look in the mirror, my face is different. But some part is not changing. That is the soul. Soul is not changing. So this fact is there that the body, the soul, does change the body in this life. In fact, this first paragraph that we are reading, explaining now, the whole topic of this is given in chapter 2, text 13. How change of the body happens. So the soul changes body in this life so many times. So change of body is a fact. It's not something not provable. We can see practically in this life. So this transference of the soul to another body is by the grace of the Supersoul. The Supersoul takes us to another body. Grace, we say mercy. Supersoul does it. We are not doing it. We are not doing it. If we don't accept Supersoul, then how is it happening? How is it that I am able to take another body? It's not my doing. It is the Supersoul, out of mercy, giving us what we want. What do you want to experience? What is your desire? Accordingly, Supersoul takes us to a next body. As Prabhupada says, the Supersoul fulfills the desire of the atomic soul as one friend fulfills the desire of another. So one friend may understand that, oh, my friend wants this and this thing, so he buys it for him. Or he does what his friend wants, close friend. So Krishna is a close friend. We can't imagine how close he is, right next to the soul, in the heart. Closer than our mind. And intelligence, closer than that is Krishna, the Supersoul. And so he's fulfilling everyone's desires mercifully. He knows what we want. We don't have to say it also. Some people pray, God, give me this, do this, solve this problem, do that. But many pure devotees, they don't pray because they understand who is Krishna, where he is, and how he is observing everything. So they don't pray for anything. Krishna knows the mind of everyone. As he says in Bhagavad-gita, Vedaham samatitani vartamani cha Arjuna, bhavishani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. Oh Arjuna, I know everything past, present and future, and I know all living entities. Bhavishyani cha bhutani. He knows all the living entities. He knows their heart, he knows their mind. And so, knowing about everyone's mind, we don't have to tell him what we want him. He's able to know. He knows when we'll be liberated also. So, he knows what we want, and he puts us in that situation. Even though we do not know, we may not know what we want. He knows. It's deep inside our subconscious sometimes. Another example is like parents. When children are young, it's said that when you're young, you show your true colors. Later we learn to hide it and be like everyone. But what are we? Overly angry, attracted to certain foods, or have a certain character trait. Then the parents see you growing up like that. And later they have some understanding of you better than yourself in some ways. And they know how you'll react to situations. So that is on the material level. Then so what about Krishna? He'll understand everything being inside the Supersoul. So accordingly he takes you to another body. To explain this fact, once I heard a story about the farmer who wanted to farm in America. So he really desired it, to go to America and do farming. He thought here in India it's a big problem, and many Indians have gone to California, other places, they're doing farming. So he said, I want to go. So he thinks, will I go? So then he goes to an astrologer and asks the astrologer that I want to go to America and farm. Will I go? Is it possible? Will it happen? Then the astrologer looks at his chart and he said, no, not this life, but next life you'll be in America. You'll be born in a family, on a farm, to rich farmers. They'll feed you very nicely. They'll carry you everywhere. Then the first part here, okay, but good, I'll be born in a family of rich farmers, okay, in America, okay. Then he got confused. Why will they carry me everywhere? Why will they feed me? Then that astrologer said that you'll be born as a dog in a farmer's family. So he didn't have Sukriti to be born as a farmer, as a human. But because of his desire, he'll take birth in a family of farmers in the next life. So even though he did not know, he's wondering what will happen. But Krishna knows our desire. He knows what we will desire. And so everything is ready. According to our desire, it's ready. So he fulfills the desire of the soul like a friend. Just like, as we mentioned, the friend knows the mind of his friend, or knows what he wants, so he does that. So Krishna knows. At the same time, for the benefit of the jiva, he has to punish him for his wrongdoings. So he does that also. Krishna says in Gita that he reminds the jiva of everything in the next life. Mata smritim jnanam apohanam cha. From me come remembrance, forgetfulness, and knowledge. So he reminds the jiva of his desire to enjoy what he wanted to from the past life, and he reminds him who to be inimical to. Some people we just hate, we don't like, or someone just doesn't like us. We come to a new job or new college, someone is disturbing. So inside Paramatma reminds you, okay, it's your turn, get back. Hate this person, harm him. So remembrance, forgetfulness, Krishna from inside puts us in the new body, gives us the knowledge and says, okay, continue now. What you like to do, continue doing it. Mata smritim jnanam aponam, Krishna says. So for me comes remembrance, knowledge, forgetfulness. Even the forgetfulness. We are in this body, we forgot who we are, who is Krishna. So that's also forgotten. The Supersoul fulfills the desires of the jiva, and part of that change, that desire, is changing of the body. That's part of the desire of the jiva. So why change of the body? Why do we change the body? This is because if we look at our life, this life is simply a series of experiences that one goes through. A series of events which are pre-calculated from the past. Just before you're born, the whole birth is calculated, and what we have to go through. So we will go through it according to, as the Kala Chakra, the time moves, so we'll get a karmic reaction and fulfillment of the desire that we have to undergo. That will come. So everything is calculated to happen according to the Kala Chakra. So over certain time, certain age, which is marked by planetary movements at a certain time, so that reaction comes, or that event happens in our life. So that happens, and we have to go through a whole set of things in this life. So when the set of experiences has finished for that particular life, then that body dies, because there is no more point, and the soul is moved to another place. This is called death. What is death? Simply the soul is moving from one place, one set of experiences to another body, another family, another culture, another country, and another experience of life. Good and bad things will happen, some health issue, or a lot of money, or a lot of friends, or some difficulty that's happening. So according to the desire and karmic reaction, the jiva will be made to go through that particular set of reactions. So he's born in a particular place. Okay, so Krishna makes someone to be born there, and it says out of his mercy, because we wanted these desires to be fulfilled. So Krishna enables it, okay. So he makes us be born some particular place to fulfill the desire. So it is Krishna taking us. Do we think it's us? So how do you do it? Are you changing your body, next body? No, you're not. If you think, yes, I am, it's me, it's not the Supersoul, it's not God, I am God. All right, describe to me how you do it. How do you do it? We're not doing it. Krishna is taking us to the next body and making us forget everything of the past life. Mata smritim jnanam aponam. For me come knowledge, remembrance, forgetfulness. So he makes you forget the past life completely. And he reminds you of who you have to harm or who you have to be friendly to, what you like doing, any things from the past life, he'll remind you. The Supersoul is also in the body. In this body is the soul and Supersoul. But the Supersoul is not involved in the karmic reactions. He's a witness. He's just witnessing everything. Spectator, that's the word. He's just watching us as we are going through this life, desiring things. I want this, I want that, I want to do this, I want to enjoy that, I don't like that. So he's just watching us, suffering and enjoying according to our karma. He's not doing anything, but he's providing what we want also. Okay, so what is he doing? He's there waiting for the jiva, the soul, to turn towards him and surrender. He wants the jiva to again come to him and surrender. So he's waiting for that. But the jiva is absorbed in enjoying and suffering his karmic reactions. An analogy is given in this purport, like what we spoke about just now, but in the form of a tree. So the jiva is in a tree. It's like two birds are on a tree. Here it's given, samane vrikshe purusho nimagno nishaya shochati muhyamana jushtam yada pashyati anyam isham asya mahimanam iti vita shokaha. Although the two birds are in the same tree, now what we were saying is that there are two souls in this body. So in the Upanishads, the analogy is given of a tree with two birds. One bird is going and eating the tree, the fruits of the tree. It's getting a sweet fruit or bitter fruit. That way enjoying or suffering. And the other bird is not eating the fruits. The other bird, the Supersoul, he's not eating, but he's watching his friend like that. He's watching him enjoy and suffer and waiting for him to turn back to him, to turn towards him. So, in order for him to turn to the other bird, he has sent so many teachings, Vedas, Acharyas, to change the mind of that bird, of us, soul, that we turn back to Krishna. But it says here, although that bird, us, we, are in this tree eating the fruit, it says that the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. But if in some way or other he turns his face to his friend, the Lord, turns his face to his friend, the Lord, and knows his glories, at once a suffering bird becomes free from all anxiety. So notice what it says, that in order to come free from anxieties, we have to turn to Krishna. Actually, he's in the heart of everyone. But we have to surrender to him by following his instructions and beginning to live our life according to him. Krishna consciousness, Krishna conscious life. So we have, in order for us to stop suffering, we have to turn to Krishna. That is one, but it says something else here, that turns his face to his friend, the Lord, and knows his glories. We also have to know about God. We have to know about Krishna in detail. That is Bhagavad-gita, that is Srimad Bhagavatam. Daily hearing about these pastimes will stop our suffering. It's written here. We have to understand about God. Because if we understand Krishna, then gradually it says, Yomam evam asamudha janati purushottama sasarva vit. One who knows Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the knower of everything. Everything will be revealed to him. So, if we turn our face to Krishna, then, and know his glories, if we know about Krishna, then we'll know everything. And when once knowledge is known to us about this material world, our purpose, our body, our life, then we'll not suffer. We'll not be in anxiety. We'll be happy just by knowing about God and how he functions and everything about him. Then we cannot suffer. It won't be possible to suffer. So that is required, that we turn our face to Krishna and know his glories. So it says here that when he's waiting for the bird to turn to him, one bird is waiting for the other bird to turn. And at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties, simply by turning our face to Krishna. Arjun has now turned his face towards his eternal friend Krishna and is understanding Bhagavad-gita through him. So Arjun turned to Krishna and Krishna is enlightening Arjun. How great that is. What a friend, a personality, that we take shelter of Krishna. He'll give us the knowledge by which we will not lament or suffer anymore. We'll be so happy. So Krishna sent so many acharyas to tell us this point. And he left the Bhagavad-gita, he spoke in Srimad Bhagavatam, so many other parts of the Vedas for us to surrender to him for our happiness. But we are not coming to that point of surrender. We are still having the idea that I'll enjoy the fruits of this material world. But we're not really enjoying. As the verse says here, the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits. He is the enjoyer of the fruits, but he's in anxiety and moroseness. Anxiety means he's anxious because material life has so many things to make us anxious, worried, disturbed. So he's in anxiety and morose. Morose means a kind of a sadness and upset, and feeling that I'm lacking, I'm not got everything what I want. So it's not really enjoyment, is it? Because we're in this material world and we are going through this, all this suffering, and we are going through enjoyment also, but that enjoyment is also moroseness because it's material. It's not going to satisfy us. We are souls. We need much more kind of happiness, a spiritual happiness, but that's not there. And so we are never happy. We are morose in this material world. This shloka is given in another part of the Vedas. Dva suparna sayujya sakhaya. Dva suparna sayujya sakhaya. Dva suparna sayujya sakhaya. I forgot the complete. Parishasvajate etam tayo pipala swadyati anashnan anya vichakashatiti. So two birds are sitting on a peepal tree. Dvars suparna sayucha sakaya pipalam swadyati. Two birds are sitting in a tree and their friends. Dvars suparna sayujya samanam vriksham parishasvajate. They're sitting on a tree, vriksham, samanam vriksham parishasvajate. Tayo anyo pipalam swadyati. One of the birds is eating the fruits of this peepal tree. Tayo anya pipalam swadyati anashnan anya vichakashatiti. The other one is not eating. So that is, here it says, it's the same verse is coming in two Upanishads. Upanishads are all directed towards self-realization, highest part of the Vedas, direct reference. So they overlap, so many things are said. As we said, even Bhagavad-gita has so many verses. Majority of verses of Gita are also in Upanishads, they are there. So the bird is waiting, the Supersoul is waiting for us to turn our face to him. So will you turn your face? When will you turn your face to Krishna? When will we turn our face? He is waiting for that. Why was this verse spoken by Krishna? This verse, particular verse we are looking at, it's saying that as a person puts on new garments, giving up old and useless ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up old and useless ones. So why is Krishna saying this particular verse? Answer is because Arjun said it's not written here in Gita, but the Purva Acharyas have told us that this is what is going on. That Arjun, because Krishna said that the soul is indestructible, and so he cannot be killed. So why are you lamenting, Arjun, if the soul cannot be killed? What is the cause of lamentation? So then Arjun said, yes, but Bhishma and Drona, they have material bodies now, which they want to enjoy, which they got a lot of enjoyment from. But now we're going to kill them, and if we kill them, they cannot enjoy. They'll not have body. The body will be gone. So we are separating their body from the soul. But that's what happens when we kill. But Krishna is replying, and he's saying that yes, the soul will be separated from this body, but they will get new bodies. Just as one puts on new garments, new clothes, giving up old and useless ones. The soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up old and useless ones. So Krishna is saying Drona and Bhishma will be happy because they'll be getting new bodies, young bodies. Here in the material world, or Swarga, actually Swarga, it will be in Swarga, because they die on the battlefield. Kshatriyas go to the sun planet and take birth there. It's a Swargic environment, very enjoyable. So they'll take birth there. So Krishna is saying, just like when we put on new garments and we give up the old ones, we feel happy. It's a new cloth. So similarly, when they leave this body, their material body, and take a new material body, then they'll be happy with that situation. So Krishna is saying that, how they're going to be happy by that situation. Okay, and therefore here Prabhupada writes that Arjuna is advised herewith by the Lord not to lament for the bodily change of his grandfather and his teacher. He should rather be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight, so that they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from various bodily activities. One who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of bodily reactions and promoted to a higher status of life. So there is no cause for Arjuna's lamentation. Okay, let's look at this paragraph. See, Arjuna is advised by the Lord not to lament for the body change. Rather, he should be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight. So actually, this is a fight, Dharma Yuddha, where the fight is for Dharma. So they'll get a good result. Whoever dies in the battlefield fighting for Dharma will get a good result. So now someone may think, oh, he's saying in a war that we should kill, and Arjuna should be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight. Okay, so understand this properly, that we are saying he should be happy to kill their bodies in a righteous fight, Dharma Yuddha, in a Yuddha fight which is based on Dharma. Basically, it's based on upholding Dharma. So in such a fight, anyone who dies, they will go to the heavenly planets. That's mentioned here in Bhagavad-gita, few verses ahead. Sukhina Kshatriya Partha Yudhe Labham Yad Idrisham. Happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such a fighting opportunity comes without them asking. Swarga Yadchaya Chopapanam Swarga Dwaram Apavritam. It opens the door of the heavenly planets, such a fight. So it's a good result. So these are different reasons Krishna is giving to Arjuna why he should fight. Actually, Bhagavad-gita could be spoken in any place. It could be spoken in different situations. Now, particularly, it's spoken on the battlefield. And these points are being used to impart the eternal truths and facts of life, death, soul, body that we have to understand in order to become liberated and to be happy. So here, Krishna is telling Arjun that you should just be happy, because just like we change the old dress with the new, they'll give up their old bodies and get new bodies, and that's a good thing. Okay, and other thing is that he should rather be happy to kill their bodies, so they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from various bodily sins. And Srila Prabhupada writes, one who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of bodily reactions and promoted to a higher status of life. What does this mean? Lays down his life on the sacrificial altar. Literally, if you take it, someone is being sacrificed, killed. Otherwise, sacrifice means yajna. So one who does yajna in the course of serving Krishna, he is performing yajna, then he is cleansed of the reactions of the bodily activities. One who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar. So, if one is to die on the battlefield fighting, all auspiciousness for him, he goes to the spiritual world, to Swarga. But now in this case, Krishna is here. Krishna is on the battlefield. So, all the soldiers who fought in this planet, they died seeing Krishna and they got liberation. This is explained. Because they died seeing the form of Krishna. So we cannot tell, we cannot understand what is good for us, what is bad. We have to see Shastra. Shastra means Krishna through his teachings in Bhagavad-gita, Bhagavatam. That will at once tell us what is the proper action to do, what is the result. We can't understand that now. We think we understand. And making our own judgment whimsically, Shastra. But Krishna doesn't advise that. In Bhagavad-gita he says that Yashastra vidam utsrajya vartate kamakarata nasa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. One who gives up the Shastric instructions and ways of life and lives on his own whims. Yashastra vidam utsrajya vartate kamakarataha nasa siddhim avapnoti. He will not get happiness. Nasa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. Neither happiness nor perfection, neither will he attain the supreme destination, param gatim. So one has to follow edicts of Shastra. Some may say, oh, people are not following Shastra today, they're all happy. Actually, what is happiness we can't understand. We didn't experience it. Real happiness is not on this body platform. It's a spiritual event. And so, the happiness, spiritual happiness, has to be experienced. Then we'll understand. We are not happy now. We are not living according to Shastra. So here, Krishna is saying that Arjun, they will be happy. They will give up their old body. They'll take new bodies. They'll be happy. Another similar thing happens when the animal is sacrificed in the fire sacrifice. To prove the efficacy of the mantra and to test basically the Brahmana, if he can really chant the mantra. So he lights the fire by mantra, and after that he takes an animal, they sacrifice the animal, chanting the mantra, and that animal takes a new body. That's supposed to happen. The same animal comes out of the fire with a young body. So, if that sacrifice was done properly, and therefore they can understand that this Brahmana knows how to do the sacrifice, then he is allowed to do the sacrifice. So, similarly here, one gets a new body. If after death you'll get a new body. In this case, they'll get a new body in Swarga. So that is good. That is Swargaya, is it written here? Sangyati. Sangyati means verily accepts. Jirnani, accepts a new body in Swarga because he died on the battlefield fighting for Dharma. Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here. Any questions? Any questions? Questions? Pretend. Okay, let's check here. Any question? No questions. Okay, Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki Jai.